operation.
While at Robertson, Lindbergh organized a few successful round-trip St. Louis-Chicago mail routes and began to contemplate more dramatic possibilities for long-distance flight.
In the following excerpts from his autobiography, Lindbergh describes his efforts to garner support for his transatlantic flight from a small circle of St. Louis businessmen who believed as he did in the future of aviation.
St. Louis is ideally situated to become an aviation city. We have one of the finest commercial airports in the United States.
And we undoubtedly become a hub of the national airways of the future.
Someday, airliners on their way from New Orleans to Chicago and from Los Angeles to New York will be landing on our airport. Now it's time for me to convince another that an airplane can take me without landing from New York to Paris.
Mr. Thompson, I've come to ask your advice about a project I'm considering.
You've heard of the Orgy prize of $25,000 for a nonstop flight between New York and Paris. I think a modern plane can make that flight.
I'd like to try it. It would show people what airplanes can do.
It would advance aviation.
And it would advertise St. Louis.
I go on to explain that I need to get a group of businessmen behind me to finance the prestige I'll need in dealing with aircraft manufacturers.
I could furnish $2,000 myself, but the right kind of plan will probably at least cost $10,000.
I was afraid a businessman would be too conservative, but at least he'd take my idea seriously and want to know what type of plane I still could make. I like the right to long gun.
His voice is disturbed, and he seems to refer a more expensive plane with 3 engines.
There'd be 3 times the chance of engine failure, and if one of them stopped over the ocean, we probably couldn't make it back to land with the other. A single-engine plane might be the safest, everything considered.
We spent the entire evening talking about aircraft in New York to Paris flight. Mr. Thompson is definitely interested.
He's encouraging, but cautious. The next day, I'm talking to Harry Knight in his brokerage office at 4th and Olive.
He doesn't believe in wasting too much time by being tactful.
He wants to talk to a banker friend to take care of finances for him. He calls Harold Bixby at the State National Bank to come in.
Within 10 minutes, Bixby knocks on the door.
He's a man you like right away, smiling and full of humor. But his penetrating brown eyes size you up and almost make you pass inspection.
Bixby asks about having more than 1 engine on such a flight.
A pilot can't fly without taking some risk. I played my chances pretty carefully. He wants me to come down to his office and see his thing.
I can hardly believe what I'm hearing.
He wants me to furnish. I could furnish $1,000. I hoped, at most, to get another $1,000 pledge. I never dreamed of finding anyone with such sufficient interest to suggest taking over the entire financial burden.
Bixby asks,
What would you think of calling it the Spirit of St. Louis?
Yeah.